Okay, so let me just get in zone for Miss Kim. Sorry about the background noise. Okay. Let's connect with Kim's energy and God's right light. Thank you, God. God's white light, the highest and greatest good of all. Is Kim's grandmother present? Yes. And God's white light, the highest and greatest good of all. Does Kim have more than one person watching over her? Okay. So I did get a yes at your grandmother's here, Kim, but I'm also getting that there's a male energy coming through. So let's just jump into your session now. And God's white light and highest and greatest good of all. Kim's grandma, would you step forward? Because I know that there's a male energy forward and there's only two people, so don't worry about hogging it up. We could loop back to the different people that are on, so don't worry about that. Yeah, Kim, is your grandmother particularly polite because there's a male presence and it's like she doesn't want to hog the time because she wants him to be able to step through. To me, it feels like, I don't know because I haven't looked at him yet, but it feels like a grandfather energy. Does that sound like your situation where she would want that person to have their time, like the time in the sun? And you're welcome, Amanda. And God's right, light, and highest and greatest good of all. Oh, yes, maybe her husband. That's what I'm thinking because I don't know what it means. He was a Commodore. I don't know what that means. Unless you're talking about the group, if he was that's the only Commodore. Do you know what Commodore means?
No.
Oh, okay. So maybe okay. In God's white light, the highest and greatest good of all. I'm just gonna shut this off because there's two people. The heck with it. I'm just gonna read. So I'm gonna bounce since it's only two people. I'm gonna bounce. Oh, like a colonel, not a singer, huh, Kim? Okay. And all right, so let's see. Not as close to him, but he is my grandfather. Okay, which would make sense. I bet you're not as close to him because of the things that you listed. In the Navy, like a colonel. So yeah, that makes sense. You probably would have been closer if he was like the singer. It's just different energy. Okay, and God's white light and the highest and greatest good of all. So now that I told you guys that you don't have to worry about the time, step up. Okay. So Kim's grandma, can we talk first since we met? And I know that you're going to be more like loose lips and easygoing. Yeah, because Kim, my deepest apologies. I don't hold on to readings and I can't put a picture to your face or anything like that. But the energy that I just connected with your grandma, I feel like we're sitting down to have a cup of tea together. She's really friendly. To me, just seems very open, outgoing, easy to talk to. I feel like if those two people are in a room together, she will make you feel so comfortable. But I feel like she's almost overcompensating. I don't know if she was always like that or she had to get that way because the husband, the colonel, um, it seems just if the two of them in a room, it's like she's shown her, put her light on bright because I think he could make people just a little bit uncomfortable. It's like piercing eyes that where he could see through you. And I don't know, it's almost like he was trying to read people, size them up. He definitely seems like a watcher. Like he's not going to mess around until he knows like what somebody's made of. And he doesn't have loose lips. I don't know if any of that stuff makes sense. Yeah. Say that. Glad you did. Yes, he's intimidating. And yes, I agree 100% because I feel like he's with us now. And that's what I'm feeling. They're both with me. And she makes me feel like, oh, let's hang out. Let's have a piece of pie. But where he's like, yeah, she's outgoing and social. Yeah. They, what do they say, Mutt and Jeff? Like those two are very different. He fought in World War II. So thank you, sir, for your service. Yeah, he's very serious. Yeah, I was just about to say to you that he hasn't cracked a smile, and as soon as I thought of saying that to you, he smiled and said, "I can smile." Oh, that's interesting. He's saying I wasn't always like this. Okay. Well, that's kind of sad. I don't know if you're not going to know him back then. Yes, very strict household per my mother. Wow, this is okay. Just so you know, Kim, I feel like we have to give him his time. I'm glad that the grandmother, as lovely as she is, I feel like I could just grab her by the face and kiss her. But now I know why she wants to give him his time because what he's sharing with me, and I feel privileged and honored that he would speak this way to me because he is not an open book. He's not somebody that communicates, right? I feel like your grandmother absolutely knew him well. I think there's so much there between them that nobody had a clue because they were so different. But I feel like they were each other's rocks, but like support. But what he's saying is when he gave me that smile, he zipped in youth from an older man. He showed me a young man, which you're not going to know this. Your mother's not going to know this. And what he's saying, this is before I became scarred. So he's saying I saw too much. I could understand that. It changed him. It fundamentally changed him. I'm glad that you like hearing from him, but I just feel like the importance of why your grandmother stepped back, even though she's present, is she wanted him to be heard. I feel like your grandfather is ready to speak. He's ready to share. Um, he doesn't want to be viewed the way people knew him when he was on Earth. Like, once he changed. I almost feel like your grandfather shut down like a wall um in his like from his heart. He for survival purposes kind of had shut down. What he's also saying is it seems like your grandmother knew him in a softer way, more boy. That's what it seems like. She met him when he was still open because he wasn't a man yet. At least that's what I'm picking up. Okay. But he's letting me know that his father was stern as well. He's comparing, I don't know who's more strict. And God's white light and the highest and greatest good of all. Sir, are you saying that your father was strict? Okay. So he's saying that his father was more strict than him. He's saying he was a walk in the park compared to his dad. Let's see. Wow, okay, because I think the children love okay, well, okay, because I think the children loved but feared him. Yeah, I'm looking at him as I read that comment, and now he's not the young man, right? Not the teenager, but he's also not the grandfather. He's not the older man. He's the father. He's showing me him as the father, and he looks very fit to me. He's not letting me seem super clear, but to me, I'm looking at a figure. He's in his home, and he's like just showing me like a day in the life. He's walking around, but it's definitely not a work day because he's in more casual clothing. But still, like you could see with the haircut, like he was just fit, and very tidy and orderly and stuff like that. But he doesn't. He thought he was a better version than his father, but he wishes that he could have let people in. He's saying that they didn't really know me. It's like he couldn't help himself. I feel like when he was around in life, like especially during that time of raising a family and working, that he wasn't present. His body may have been present, but not emotionally. It seems like emotionally unavailable, but more because he's lost in his head, not because he's a mean guy or anything like that. Just a lot of stuff going on. Okay. This is all true. I'm glad that I was able to help. Is there anything before, because I know there's a third person that jumped on. Whoever came on, please state your name and whoever you want to talk to, I'll get to you next. Okay, Kim, I don't know if this is going to make any sense to you, but when I'm tapping into your uncle's energy, my head hurts. Um, the first thing that I thought was, too many thoughts, overloaded with thoughts. It's like it doesn't shut up. It doesn't shut down. It's like round and round and round, where it never ceases. It just seems like where it could drive somebody to jump off a cliff. But then when it started to hurt a little bit more, I kind of wonder if his death had something to like do with it. He shot himself in the head. That's what I was just about to say. I feel like he shot himself in his head. Um, because thoughts were why he shot himself in his head, but the pain part, it turned into a physical pain, which thank you, sir, for not making it hurt tremendously. Because sometimes spirits will give me the exact pain that they physically felt. He didn't. He let me know that. And I saw a gun. He was telling me that he shot himself. But understand this, I really think he chose that way because he wanted his thoughts to shut the F up. He just couldn't take it anymore. Okay. I feel like your uncle didn't have the foundation maybe that he needed to emotionally deal with things. And I just feel like shit started going bad in his life. Like where I feel like it impacted his heart. And like just say a bad breakup or something. I don't know if it was separation from his children. It just seems like everything got so complicated, so messy, and he just didn't have the foundation within himself to push through life. And I call that check, please. You're done with your meal. You just want to leave the restaurant. You don't want anything else. You're just done. You can't even see the possibility of going on. Uh, yeah, he just a lot of pain. That's what I'm saying. So him being a loner shows me nothing like his mother. It's kind of odd to think that he doesn't have the foundation because he had the grandmother, but it just seems like he didn't. I hate being judgy, but he didn't get what he needed from his father. He didn't have that foundation. Okay. I don't want to put words in your grandmother's mouth or anything like that, but I bet you wrote my grandmother loved him so much we didn't tell her what happened actually happened to him. But I think grandma, you say she loved him so much. I'm sure she loved them all very much, right? Because she's just this gorgeous soul. But when your child is lacking something and he needed something from his father, he needed that connection, and she knew that he didn't have that. So I feel like your grandma may have overcompensated for that particular child. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So I know that you said that he needed something from his dad. That part made sense to you. But I think grandma, like other people might have said that he was a favorite and stuff like that. I do think there's something special for her that he's a boy, but and maybe birth order, but it's because he was sensitive. And I do feel like he's a quiet person, but he, he's the one I feel like that needed the most. Yes, only 2 sons. One died at 20 in Vietnam. So, yeah. Yep, he was only youngest surviving boy. Yeah, because I definitely pick up that energy. Like, boy is very special to her and younger. So, yeah, she had a special connection with him, which is wonderful, but I needed something from dad. And I feel like dad wasn't always physically around. And then even when he wasn't always emotionally available. So, do you have anything else to say to him? He's still kind of quiet. Like, he's very good at sharing with me, but I feel like he's a very private person. And it would be you said that you wish you could get to know him better. I don't think that would have been easy. I think that he was no open book. So just because you wanted to, I don't think it would have. Um, well, thank you. She to be honest with you, they wanted to come through. I cannot make a spirit show up if they do not want to. Your grandfather, remember, your grandmother was present, and your grandfather, I felt him, and your grandmother wanted him to speak, and he wanted to speak. And then when you come to your uncle, he actually communicated very well. So I don't know if that's because he's on the other side for a long period of time, but he did great with showing me how he crossed. Oh, he was always around and came to see me a lot. Oh, okay. Because I was surprised I missed one because I'm like, wow, he's really quiet. That's surprising. But you wrote, yes, we didn't speak much, but let him know I love him. Okay. So he was physically there, and he does feel like one of those people. Like Henry Fonda was like that. Him and Jimmy Stewart were great friends, and they said they would build models and stuff together and hours of silence. That's what I feel like with your uncle, like a good person, just not a talker. Yeah. See, you sense that's your empath abilities that you could tell that he was a loving guy. Because I don't think the average bear looking at him would know that. I just don't. Let's see. I just want to ask him, do you know that she loves you? He's saying that you guys have a special connection. That's an interesting thing to say because I get the impression you were pretty young. Um, But maybe you understand this because of who you are. Your uncle said that he felt safe around you, where he could be himself, which I think that means it's okay not to talk. You give him peace and comfort. So that's a really awesome thing to do. So, all right, guys, everybody got their mini readings today.